Hello, fellow brawlers! I'm KairosTime. We got a new brawler, we got a new environment, we got a new update, and I don't know if you can really tell, but that's actually the back of the P.E.K.K.A statue on Supercell's HQ. That's right, I'm at Supercell's HQ right now as I'm speaking to you, and surprisingly, I still haven't seen the update, but I have seen Brawl Talk, so let's cover everything we know. Eve is an alien flea brawler, and she mostly cares about finding somewhere safe for her babies, okay? She even has some sort of an app to find a suitable host for them. It's kind of like a dating app, but for finding a host. That's weird. Eve is the third and final member of the Star Force trio, along with Squeak and Colonel Ruffs, and this is actually really surprising since I was pretty convinced that the third member of Star Force was going to be a cat named Kit because of the cat pin that Squeak wears. It looks like she has kind of like a normal movement speed and 4,500 health at max level, which is the same as Sprout, Jessie, Grom, and Mr. P. So she definitely is on the lower side when it comes to her HP and is going to require a little bit of good positioning and making sure that she stays safe. Eve's main attack is 3 different size eggs that are fired from largest to smallest, and each of them deal damage based off of how big they are. At max level, the first egg deals 960 damage, the second deals 780 damage, and the third egg deals 600 damage. All 3 eggs together deal 2,340 damage, which is the same amount of damage that Lola can do with 1 ammo. So she actually has a lot of damage potential. Now her attacks don't go through targets and they don't explode, but it looks like her attack has a pretty massive range. I'll find out exactly what her range is in my Eve Olympics video, so make sure you guys subscribe for that. Now Eve's super is an even bigger egg that actually hatches after a few seconds. These 3 hatchlings pop out and charge the nearest enemy, kind of like Tick's super does, but instead of dealing 1-time damage against the enemy, anybody that gets hit by it will take poison damage over time. We didn't see how much damage is dealt in Brawl Talk or how long they will deal damage for, but the fact that you can destroy the egg or destroy the hatchlings before they actually get to you tells me that they probably deal a significant amount of damage. Also, unlike Tick's super, the hatchlings lose 10% of their health for every second, so they can't just follow a target forever. In other words, throwing it way far back at your side of the base is going to make it easier for the enemy team to actually destroy them before you actually deal damage. Eve also has a really cool mechanic coming to the game that allows her to float over water. She's not able to float over walls, but this is still a really interesting mechanic. Currently, there's not a ton of maps that use a lot of water, but in the game, they actually showed a lot of different maps being added into there. So it's gonna be interesting to see how often this is actually used in the future, and if this is like a feature that actually makes her strong, or if it's kind of like just chill and like fine, or like not a big deal. Now, we don't know exactly what her star power is. One idea that I had is that like the first egg deals more damage, the second deals less damage, the third egg does the same amount of damage. That could be her star power, but there's a chance that she could have another star power that like decreases the time it takes for her super egg to hatch, since the 5 seconds that it takes is actually like really long. I could also see another star power having some sort of an added nerf to enemies that are poisoned by her super. Now her gadget wasn't ever activated in the video, and I couldn't see anything on the maps that could have been anything that she would like place down with her gadget. I think a cool gadget for Eve could be similar to like Colt's silver bullet gadget, where her next attack fires 1 egg that actually roots the target to the ground and stuns them for a second or 2. Or maybe even one that sacrifices one of her hatchlings to heal herself and her teammates, although I have a hard time imagining her sacrificing her little children for that. She's more about taking out the enemy brawlers in order to give her babies a suitable host. Either way, I'll be doing a full-blown Eve Olympics video sneak peek, so make sure you guys subscribe for that. The new Brawl Pass season is here, and we are entering the Biodome. Now, the Biodome is the jungle trios environment for Sprout, Rosa, and Bee, but it honestly kind of looks like it's been tainted by Eve ever since she crashed through the Biodome. We see alien looking like plants, some thorny vines growing everywhere, and as you may have seen, there have been a few brawlers that have actually been like literally corrupted because of the skins that we got. I think this honestly could be a big lore update for this environment and might actually explain how certain brawlers like Spike are able to exist in the game. We got 2 new Gamemodes coming to the game, and I'm really excited about these. The first is Payload. Each team has a payload that moves along a track, but it only moves if you are close to the payload itself. The game mode requires the right balance of offense to move your payload along and defense to prevent the enemy team from moving theirs along. And keep in mind that the payload is basically an indestructible wall that like moves. So that allows you to hide behind it for cover because a lot of brawlers can't shoot through it. And we can also see from Penny's cannon that brawlers are the only things that are able to move payloads, not their pets. So like you can't use a Nita Brew spare to like try and move your payload forward. Also, don't worry, I double checked. The payload does not deal damage to brawlers like the minecarts do in Minecart Madness, so don't worry about that. Now, I didn't see a timer at the top of the screen, but I'm guessing that if neither team gets their payload to the very end by the end of the match, then whoever's payload would be the closest would actually win. Now in Brawl Talk, Danny mentioned that this was gonna require like a lot of collaboration and like cooperation with your teammates and stuff like that. So I'm actually really excited to see how the meta works for this game mode. The second game mode is Wipeout. This is a 3v3 where the first team to get 8 kills wins the match. This game mode's kind of like a mixture of bounty but with a cap on it, and it's kind of like knockout except that you actually respawn. If time runs out and neither team has defeated 8 brawlers, the win goes to the team that has defeated more brawlers, but we don't know exactly what happens when there's a tie. I'm guessing though that it's going to go into sudden death for the next 30 seconds, and whichever team gets a kill gets the win. The biggest difference between Wipeout and bounty is that no matter which brawler you kill, you will always get 1 point. And that means that you could kill the same brawler on the enemy team 8 times in a row and you would win the match. At the same time, you could be the one that dies 8 times and loses the match for your team, which means that every death that you take is going to feel very punishing. Now, these are going to be temporary game modes, and Siege is also going to be made a temporary game mode, meaning it's no longer in, well, I'm sad. I like Siege, so that's disappointing. But they're giving Basketball another chance as another seasonal mode, which I'm really excited for. Guys, it is finally happening. We are getting 10 new second gadgets added to a lot of the brawlers in the game. Lola's new gadget instantly switches Lola's position with her mirror self and swaps their location, which is like so awesome. I can already see so many cheese plays with this. I'm specifically expecting a video from OJ on it. Next, we have Byron's, which makes it so that his next attack fires 3 shots in the shape fan rather than just 1 shot. And I'm not sure if all 3 shots will actually pierce through their targets with his injection star power equipped, but if they do, that's going to be devastating. And it's also going to be devastating against enemies who are really close and take all 3 hits from it. For Ems, it looks like it allows her to actually attack through walls. It doesn't seem to destroy the walls, but it seems to go over the walls. And Squeak's gadget makes it so that when that splat is on the field, the enemy brawler is slowed down, as you can see from those red arrows on Stu as soon as he gets close to that attack. There are 6 other gadgets that we haven't shown in here, and I'm gonna go over all of them in a future sneak peek. Next, we have a ton of skins, and I'm gonna guess how much I think they're actually gonna cost. First up is Spiky Eve and Firefly Rico, which will both be available for the Brawl Pass. Keep in mind that starting with these exclusive skins, they will eventually show up in the shop later on if you don't get the Brawl Pass now, but it will probably be much later in the future. Next, we have Ivy Bell, and if I had to guess, I'd go with like 80 or 150 gems, although whatever she's growing from the ground actually looks really funky and cool. Then we have Mr. Fly, who is drinking something weird. I don't understand. It's hilarious. He's gonna cost 80 or 150 gems as well, I think. Then there's Mantis Rosa, and I could see her costing 50 or 80 gems. Corrupted Sprout, I'm guessing will be 50 or 80 gems as well. Next is Dr. Edgar, who I think is gonna cost 80 to 150 gems. And finally, we have Beetle B, who I'm guessing will be 150 gems. Waspo is the Power League skin, so you'll have to purchase him with star points after getting a certain number of wins. And also, if you don't get him now or unlock the ability to purchase him now, he will be purchasable someday later in the future, although maybe it could be a year from now. Then we have Bunny Grom, and I don't know what to think of this. I'm gonna guess 80 gems, or maybe even possibly like a special challenge for Easter or something like that. And finally, we have Lion Bull, who is going to be purchasable in the club shop along with the other weird random skins in the game that just are stinky or smell it or whatever. Honestly, I say this with every update, but I feel like Supercell just gets better and better at making their skins for Brawl Stars. The healing gear will now just increase the speed of your natural health progression. I imagine this is going to make it so like once you actually start that natural healing after you've stopped attacking, like taking damage, then the frequency of heals will happen significantly faster, and it looks like 50% faster at level 3, and if I have to guess, I'd say 40% at level 2 and 30% at level 1, although those percentages are just my personal speculation. Next, we got a bunch of random improvements to the game. The map rotation is switching from every couple of hours to every day, so each game mode will be playable for the entire day, and some of them will switch to new game modes the next day. Also, the Power League ELO system is getting reworked. Since all Power League matches are best 2 out of 3, your rank will actually move up a little bit more if you sweep your opponents and get 2 wins and they get 0. And also, if you lose a match but still happen to win 1 game, your rank won't go down quite as far. This is going to give people a reason to try to win every single match, and I'm really happy with this decision. Club League is now going to give players 6 tickets to use on day 3 instead of the regular 4. I don't think this is going to add additional strategy to Club League like the golden tickets did, but it's definitely going to make it so that if your club struggles the first couple of days, that there's still a chance for you guys to improve and promote on the last day. Another change in Club League is that now you can buy as many power points as you can afford all in the same day from the Club League shop, which is just awesome, okay? Additionally, wildcard power points will now be available in brawl boxes. These are random amounts of power points that you can choose which brawler to apply them on. Now, what we don't know is if this is going to be added on top of like the current stuff that we are getting from brawl boxes. Like, are we getting additional power points, or is this actually replacing some of the power points that we're currently getting? Either way, I actually think this is really great because it's going to give players more control to be able to choose which brawlers they really want to focus on leveling up, so that they can get some power level 11 brawlers sooner and then actually be able to compete in like Power League and stuff like that. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about this Brawl Talk because, well, first of all, I loved what we got in this Brawl Talk. Like, all of the new content that we're getting is really awesome, but I still have a lot of questions about the things that were not mentioned in Brawl Talk. This is the update where I was really hoping for some big changes to gears, okay? Most specifically, I was hoping for gears to be made more accessible for players, that they should be cheaper. People should be able to unlock them a lot easier. And also, I was hoping for gears to be reworked so that they would add more depth to brawler builds than the current system allows. And it looks like the gear build situation has not changed. Now, in this clip right here, we can see that all the gears are currently the same, okay? There's only 5 of them, and they're all just level 1, 2, or 3, and they're all just level 3 for this specific image. Also, if you look at this image where they're showing the wild card power points, this, to me, at least when I look at these numbers, very clearly looks like a mega box. And it looks like the scrap amount that we're getting from the mega box is the same. It looks like the gold amount that we're getting from a mega box is pretty much the same. And of course, we have the total number of power points, which also look the same. Now, there's a chance that they made some changes to the economy that are going to make it like way better for right now, and there actually is, like, that could actually happen. They don't have to cover everything in Brawl Talk, so stay tuned for sneak peeks, and hopefully we'll hope for that. But it looks like that's not going to be happening, so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Either way, Eve is coming to the game. I can't wait to show you the Eve Olympics. I'm really excited to get my hands on her and show you guys all the new content that's coming to the game with the different sneak peeks. So make sure you guys subscribe right there for some Brawl Stars content. We got some Clash mini content there, Free Fire content right over there. Wow, this is a different camera angle, and also a Brawl Stars video right here that you can watch. Thank you so much for watching. For now, this is KairosTime ticking by. We will see you in Brawl Stars.